Hello. Thank you for agreeing to be a vision coach for an amazing young person. I want to walk you through the steps so that you can get signed up on the platform to be a vision coach and begin supporting a student on the AlleeOop WorkReady Mobile app. So what you're going to do is go to the link that's provided in the referral sheet that you have, and when you get to this page, you're going to click on sign up as a leader, because we're going to be a leader to these young people. And then you'll see a form to fill out here. So you're going to fill out your first name, last name, your email address. And obviously, as you can see with the red asterisks, these are the fields that are required. Go ahead and put in a password of your choosing. When we get to location, you're just going to choose the BCJJ for Beaver County Juvenile Justice. There's no group code required. You're going to go ahead and click on I'm Not a Robot and sign up. So I'll do that real quickly. Once we submit that, you'll see there'll be a pop-up saying agree to the user agreement, and it will process and get you onboarded. And you'll see the welcome. So here you're on board, and we've got you in, and you'll see that there's a menu item to the side here. And once you get paired with a student, when you are paired with a student, when you go into groups, like you'll see right now, I just signed up, there's no groups. You will see a list of groups here. These will be all the vision coach groups that you are assigned to with various students. So when you see the list, it could say David's vision coach group, Janelle's vision coach group, et cetera, et cetera. These would be the groups that you would be involved in as a mentor, a vision coach, oftentimes along with other vision coaches as well, and you'll work to support these students in a group dynamic. So I'm going to log into another portal to show you what that looks like. Okay, so as we mentioned, you registered, you signed up, you got into the Beaver County Juvenile Justice instance of AlleeOop's WorkReady Mobile platform. After you've registered, we are going to pair you with some students that you can support. And when that happens, you will get a notification on the app or via email, depending upon how you set notifications, letting you know that you've been added to a vision coach group for a student. When that happens and you log back into the platform, you'll be able to go to groups, and you will see now that there'll be a list of groups. Remember before, when you first signed up, there were no groups listed. You'll start seeing a list. It may start with just one, but then there perhaps could be multiple. And here I'll say, all right, this is David's vision coach group. That's what VC group stands for, David's vision coach group. And when I go into this group, this is where all the communication from the vision coaches to the learner are going to take place. In essence, it's a giant group message board. And our messages can go back and forth. There's a thread here. All of the communications are archived, so you can always go back and review them. This is really helpful for learners when they want to go back and reference comments or support or encouragement or specific information that we provide to them. The other thing you'll see is that when we make a post to this learner, we have the ability to start a thread. So why would we start a thread? Well, that would be if there's a specific portion of the communication that's very closely related, where we want to group it together so that if that learner wants to go back and look at it later, it makes it really easy to do that. So the learner can make it as a thread, or we can make it as a thread when we do it. So in this example here, this student that we pulled these demo posts from stated that they were interested in becoming an artist, and created a goal of trying to come up with ways that they could become a professional artist, meaning even if somebody paid $1 for a painting they made, that they could start considering themselves a professional. So great goal for a young person. And so making a post here, so this is somebody saw their goal and said, hey, how's your list of art ideas coming? Do you need help with some ideas? We could start this as a thread. So it could be now everyone's comments that jump in related to this activity would all be lumped together. Or if somebody wanted to create a separate conversation about careers in art or creative outlets, etc., we could do that. So there's ability to create a thread. And if I wanted to just make a general post, like just checking in. So for example, I can make a post. So here's just a generic post, right? Just checking in. It's amazing how important it is sometimes for these young people to feel engaged and connected and valued. So, hey, David, how was your week? Did you get any work done on your goals? Here to support you however you need, whatever. So, and I can, at the bottom here, it says enable discussion. I do want other people to jump in on this so they can also say, hey, David, how are you doing? Hope your week was great. Any plans for your weekend? Whatever it may be. So I go ahead and send that, and that's going to go into the post, and you can see here. So there's my note. And then if you were part of David's Vision Coach group, you would get a notification on the app saying, Carrie just put a post into David's Vision Coach group. And so you could go and look at it, and then you can jump in and reply to it, create a thread related to, the upcoming events this weekend or whatever. If David says, well, I don't know, I don't have any plans this weekend, maybe somebody jumps in and says, hey, there's this going on at the city park. There's, this or this going on, or, whatever. But we start these conversations. So what are some of the things that we're going to talk about in these conversations? Well, that's where we can go and look at the users that you're going to be paired with now. So when you first sign up, you'll see nobody in your user list. But after we get you paired with a student, you'll see something like this, for example. So this is David's profile. And I can click on David's profile. You'll be able to do this. And when I go and look, I'll be able to see any documents that David's uploaded but the most important thing here is the goals. All right. So when we get into the goals, this is where everything that David is doing to build himself up, to crystallize a vision of the future that he wants for himself, and then specifically what things is he working on right now to move himself from where he is today to where he wants to be. It's all going to be contained here in this goals section. So we have several areas of goals. The SMART goals at the bottom, these are going to be short-term goals, and it very much looks like what we've seen before with the SMART goal. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, all that sort of stuff. So you can see the form that David filled out. So you see the questions that prompted his responses, and then you can see his responses. So I'm looking at here. So I can't edit this because I'm looking at David's inputs. So David's goal was to sell something that he made. Describe in detail what he planned. Or I want to set a goal of selling something I've created. So officially I can say I'm a professional artist. How can we measure it? When someone gives me at least $1. Absolutely, that's correct. Describe why you can believe you can achieve this goal. I think I have good ideas. How is it relevant? Ties into my purpose and life goals. What time? Okay, so he set a goal of selling something by the end of January. And short-term goal is deciding what I'm going to create and sell it by January 31st. So he put a goal tied to that. And so now I can see that. Now if I want to make something specific comment to that particular goal, that's where I then can go back into that Vision Coach group of David's, and I can make a comment of, hey, are you more of a sculptor or an illustrator or a painter, or what kind of art do you do? And I can engage him in conversation and learn more about him, and also perhaps then come up with some ideas to encourage him to help him reach this particular goal. But the other goals you'll see here in the goal section, typically the student starts off first with completing a purpose statement. We have them do this so that we can get a sense of what they believe is most important to them. And we can use this oftentimes when they're making decisions or trying to decide on focus or direction. We can have them reference back to their purpose statement because, again, these are their inputs. So once again, you see here's the form with regards to things that are important to David and what he believes is critical to himself. And so he says ultimately he answers all those questions to get to the point where he has to kind of summarize them. I want to build a life where people respect me, look up to me, where I get to be independent and use my creative mind every day. I want to surround myself with creative people. I want to put good energy and good things into the world because I think that's how we should repay for being who we are. Okay, so this was an example we took from a student. It's a real life example. And so that's David's purpose statement. And so That's terrific. So when I am interacting and supporting David, if I want to, you know, add to that, I can say, well, first of all, I love that. I think it's important. If you've identified being creative as something that makes you happy, then yes, absolutely make sure that's intertwined in every part of your life. Absolutely. And so that's what we're going to work through is all the goals. These are all David's goals. They have long-term life goals. My network is where David's going to work on building a supportive network beyond the vision coaches we're paired with here. He might identify family members that are supportive to him, school administrators, et cetera, et cetera. And we can look at this list so that as David sets goals, I can say, well, don't forget about reaching out to your neighbor. You said he owns some food trucks. He might be able to help you with X, Y, and Z or whatever it may be. And then the vision board is where David will create a vision board. Each student will go through a series of questions and prompts to help them create a vision board that is relevant, truly relevant to the future they're trying to create. So oftentimes when students work on vision boards, it becomes basically just a collage of mansions and stacks of cash and fancy sports cars, but it doesn't really address how they want to feel in the future. How do they want to be regarded? What sort of things do they need each day? So in David's example, when I look at his vision board, I would want to see something indicating that creativity has to be foundational to the life he's trying to lead. So we'll work on, he create a vision board and we can give feedback. And vision board's a perfect example. The student can create one, and with prompts, we can encourage them to keep it updated as they have new experiences and they learn new things. And every version of their vision board that they create gets archived so we can see every iteration. That's true of the purpose statement as well. Every version of it is there and created. And again, all of the feedback then we're going to do, we go into the groups, and it would all happen in the vision coach groups is where we're having all our communication take place, because we're going to try and drive this mentorship through the app so that all of our feedback and support is always available to the student right there. And when we're giving this feedback, if there is relevant resources you want to make available to the student, then we can go ahead and we can put a resource, we can put an attachment to something. So for example, last month, and you go up here to resource, last month, for example, some students we were supporting were concerned about food. Food insecurity was a big thing as SNAP benefits were shut down for a while. And so resources of local food banks and churches that were doing food drives and things like that were resources that I put in a number of communications with students that were supported. So thank you very much for agreeing to be a vision coach, a mentor to some amazing young people. We look forward to working alongside you and helping some young people build the best version of themselves.